Black men don't want to marry us. Now, when I say us, I'm talking about black women, or at least that's what social media and everyone else would have you guys to think. It's WTF Wednesday, and I'm here to chit chat with you guys about a few things that are on my mind. And one of the things that I am so sick of debating and hearing about and going on and on about is the fact that black men don't like black women. They don't want to marry us because we're difficult and all of the things that go along with that adage. Now, that's exactly what social media and these podcasts and the internet would want you to think. However, 85% of black men that are married in the United States are married to black women. Now, the reason it may appear that way is because those that are in the spotlight happen to be marrying people of different races. They are showing you what they want you to see, not necessarily what's going on. Black men are still marrying black women. Black families still exist and are thriving and doing well. But they would have us to believe that black men want to be married to everybody other than us. Now, interracial marriage involving black men and women of other races has become increasingly common, and the percentage of black men married to non-black women has increased over the years. But interracial relationships have existed for a very long time, long before it was even legal to be in an interracial situation or even accepted to be in an interracial situation. And I'm not going to try to put myself in the mind of an African American man and try to ascertain why it is that he might want to be married to someone that doesn't look like him, couldn't possibly understand his plight, or that doesn't look like any of the women in his family. I'm not going down that road. I'm not a psychologist. The black men that I talk to like black women, so I'm not even going to put myself in that. What I'm here to tell you guys is it's a lie. Black men do still marry black women in overwhelming numbers. Now, the internet and these red pill podcasters to have us believe that black men really don't even like us. But historically, it has been true that I don't think men particularly like women ever. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to deal with our emotions and our feelings. And, sometimes, back in the day, way back in the day, women were treated more like property or indentured servants. But wise men know better. And when you get with a wise man, they see the value that someone that can identify with them brings to the relationship and to the family. A wise man knows that he is better if the woman has his back and understands his plight. And I personally believe that there is no other woman that can understand the day-to-day of being a black man better than a black woman. Now, I don't necessarily have an issue with interracial relationships. I say love who loves you. It doesn't matter what color you are or what your background is. If you love somebody and they love you and you want to spend the rest of your life with them, by all means do so. And there are 1 billion people on this planet, and we don't have to concern ourselves with the 1, 2, or the 15% of African American men that don't want to be married to black women. The wise man knows that a woman that understands his plight can provide a level of love and nurturing for him that makes him stand taller, and it prepares him to go out in this world and fight another day. So ladies, don't let these podcasts, the internet, TikTok, or anything else dissuade you. If you want to be a intact African American family with a black mom, a black dad, and black kids, do that. And don't be discouraged. There are so many people out here that want the same things that you do. So don't let the internet lead you astray. Now, this is a perfect segue into the next thing I want to talk about, which is Deonte Kyle, the award-winning podcaster, of the Grits and Eggs podcast. Now, he has a counterpart that's the producer and that's kind of behind the scenes, and he has a perfect banter with. They are a duo, they are a team, but Deonte is in front of the camera. He's the one that's dropping the gems and going viral, all while his man, and I can't really call his name, it's something Ice Cup, Big Ice Cup, something like that. My apologies, brother. I couldn't find your name written anywhere, and I couldn't really understand the way he was saying it. But you play as big of a role as he does, as Mr. Kyle does. You guys are a dynamic duo and a great team. But this podcast is a breath of fresh air in the midst of this toxic podcast era that most African American men participate in. And he's the example of say what you mean and mean what you say. He is for the collective. He is for the culture. He wants to see all of us grow and thrive. He is a 35-year-old black man that has 3 children with a black woman. And all he cares about is us doing well and doing what we need to do. His voice is just what the culture and the collective need. He is all about providing information to the collective in a way that can be helpful for the next generation. And he has had some experiences doing all things. You know, he was an over-the-road truck driver. He has done some illegal things. He's been to jail. He has made mistakes. And so he can give people what they need to help them get on the right path. He is a breath of fresh air. And I love listening to his podcast. Now, like I said, his counterpart is his best friend. They started posting short clips on TikTok. And the audience wanted more. They wanted more long-form content. So he took to YouTube and blew up. You know, the clips, he was already doing very well on TikTok. He took to YouTube. He's gone viral on many times. His podcast is an award-winning podcast. He's only been around, I think, since January 2024, and he's already the recipient of 2 very prestigious podcast awards. He is from Atlanta, Georgia, and I think he's one of the good guys in the midst of, you know, some things that don't always turn out so great coming from Atlanta. And it all started in the back or in the cab of his 18-wheeler. Like I said, he was over-the-road truck driver. He was trying to get the podcast thing figured out. So his first couple videos were recorded on his iPad in his truck. And you can, you know, look at all of his videos, and he'll tell you about the difficulties of being in a truck by yourself, you know, carrying on a conversation with the camera. But he's done, you know, such a good job. And with his unified and unfiltered insights, he explores the intersections of the black community and the black collective. He studies or covers hip hop culture. He is into music. I believe he used to be a rapper as well. He's tried a number of things. And whether he's tackling societal issues or calling out cultural things that should not be normal within the black community, he is not afraid to call you out and get you straight. He does not mince words. He does not make up things as he goes. He has been consistent. And his platform is one with a specific nuance to amplify the truth that African Americans need to hear. So I am so glad for him to come on the scene and give us something different in the podcasting world. And I say congratulations to the Grits and Eggs podcast. I think you guys are doing an amazing job, and I want you guys to keep up the good work. Now, the third and final thing that I'm going to touch on this week is our little Miss Shirley. Our little boots on the ground, fan popping little phenom that has been popping up all over the internet, all over TV, doing all kinds of shows, doing the boots on the ground line dance. Miss Shirley is a 4-year-old dance phenom. She is adorable, but the way she's filmed sometimes could promote, you know, questions, can raise questions, and it's caused a bit of a stir on the internet as well as her mom. There's so many people that feel like she may be could potentially be exploited in some way, and some folks have gone as far as to call Child Protective Services on the mom. Now, I haven't seen anything. I haven't been following this closely. I saw her on the Jennifer Hudson show, Dancing with Niecy Nash, and I thought she was, quite adorable doing the boots on the ground dance. I don't think it's the most appropriate thing for a 4-year-old to be doing, in public and making appearances and things in adult spaces. There's nothing wrong with Jennifer Hudson. There's nothing wrong with, the family cookout. I did hear mention that she was in some adult spaces, maybe some of these trail rides or, parties with some people that could be questionable. I don't know. My hope as a social worker of over 20 years is that Child Protective Services got in there, did their thing, and then got out. We don't want this child's life disrupted by Child Protective Services in the court. And part of me feels like the world should have minded their own business and never called CPS on this mom. And then another part of me, because I don't follow it closely, if there was something that looked like abuse, perhaps CPS needed to be involved. But I don't know that was necessary. I think the internet was doing what the internet does, and it was minding business for reasons that, they really didn't need to mind. Now, in my opinion, the mom's handling or managing of this viral moment or these spotlights, could have been handled a little differently. She has been seen, on TikTok crashing out, going off, and because someone called CPS, and I too would be upset. I've worked with Child Protective Services. I know what that means. I know that's a scary time for the family to have strangers coming into your home, wanting to look around and ask your kid questions and do examinations on your kid when you believe in your heart that you have been doing everything that you should do to protect your child. And some vindictive person called without knowing the ins and the outs of what has been going on. And all I can hope is that if there's any lesson in this, is that, we really don't need to have our children that visible on the internet for people to be sticking their nose in business that's not theirs. This child could have done the boots on the ground thing, gone viral, and then, her mom stopped recording and putting everything on the internet. But sometimes that little bit of fame, if you're generating income from it, you lose focus, on what's important. And more so than, the boots on the ground dance and the call to CPS, my question is, why are we calling a 4-year-old Miss anything? That's the first thing. I think a Miss, is a young lady, 14, 15, 16 years old. And I'm talking, a Miss with an M and an S is really an unmarried woman. Miss, MISS, may be, for a younger person. But I don't think we should be calling a 4-year-old Miss Shirley ever. Miss Shirley sounds like an old church lady that's, somewhere dancing and having a good time. But, we sometimes, without even realizing that we're doing it, cause our girls, and when I say our girls, I'm talking African-American little girls, to grow up way before they need to grow up. And sometimes they get introduced into things that they probably shouldn't be witness to. They're always being accused of being grown and doing grown things and acting grown. And I just really don't think that is appropriate. Little black girls often have to grow up fast, and they can sometimes be denied the freedom of just being allowed to be little girls. I know that we got to latch on when the viral moment happens, and we got to be ready to ride the wave. But I'm always concerned, when children are involved, because I don't want to see anyone victimized, abused, or mistreated in any way, especially someone that's 4 years old. Now, is this celebration? Is this exploitation? I don't know. How much is the 4-year-old actually benefiting from all the things that are happening? How much of this is she even going to remember? She doesn't know Jennifer Hudson probably. She don't have no idea who Niecy Nash is. She's 4 years old. I don't think she realizes anything other than she knows how to pop that fan, and she knows that line dance, and she knows that people are clapping and looking and watching. And so I think that she's enjoying herself. She doesn't look like, she is upset or that she doesn't want to be there. So I just, I don't know. I don't know how much the child is benefiting. I hope the benefits to mom were worth the trouble that this situation has caused. But my advice to everyone when it comes to children is that they need to be kept off of the internet. There are so many people out there that are doing inappropriate things to children. I am a child advocate. I have been, professionally for over 25 years, and I still advocate for children in every way that I possibly can. And it is never a good thing when Child Protective Service gets involved. We've got to be careful what we ask for when we're posting online, because I've seen it blow up in people's faces way times too many. Heck, some of y'all be trying to come for me, and I'm an old lady with an old lady's opinion. So and people coming for me, so I know they're gonna come for the children. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to WTF Wednesdays. Those are my thoughts about the things that were on my mind this week. I hope you guys are participating in my challenge. I'm doing that as well. So please don't hesitate to take the 10-day challenge with me as I reset for my new year, because many of you know my birthday was last Friday. I am, I've taken one more trip around the sun, and I'm doing better than ever. And I want you guys to come along and do this thing with me. So thank you again for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Turn those notifications on. And until the next time, the seasoned lady signing off. See you soon. Toodles.